Hello and welcome to the Personal Transformation Experience podcast. My name is David Brand.
And I'm Maureen Brand.
And we decided to do this podcast some time ago because we wanted to bring the conversations we've been having out to a larger audience. We feel that we've come across a lot of great information from authors, podcast hosts, and so forth, and our own lived experience that we hope can be beneficial to others. So if this is your first time joining us, thank you. If you're returning and you've watched other episodes, we appreciate your support of what we're doing. Maureen, anything you want to say before we get started on this week's topic?
Nope.
All right, super. So the title for today's podcast is the 3 things that you need to do right now to ensure that you have an amazing start to 2025. Mm-hmm. What do you need?
Well, you need an index card, 3x5, and a pen or a pencil. That's it.
That's what you need. And then what are we going to do?
I love this idea. So we're going to write down, you're going to think about what you want to let go of and what you want to manifest. And you're going to put it on the index card, anything you want to let go of from 2024 and what you want to manifest going forward in 2025. And you're going to share it with a friend, a close friend.
Or your partner.
Or your partner, whoever that you feel close to. And that's it. And then you're going to kind of focus on that, going forward and just kind of think about it. You can keep it. We did a little ritual where we had a bonfire and we burned ours in the bonfire, and just to let go of what we wanted to let go of and put it out into the universe, what we wanted to manifest. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll give credit where credit's due. So last weekend on the 21st, we went to a winter solstice retreat at the Great Woods End Meditation Center in Charlotte. And David, who helps lead meditations and talks there, did lead a sizable group, about 25 to 30 people, through an exercise where this was part of the day. So it so moved us that we thought, let's share that with a wider audience. So just to walk people through how to go through this process, I'll share personally for me what it is I decided to let go of. And if you've been listening to this podcast, you're aware from prior episodes that I've revealed that I have feelings of shame, embarrassment, and guilt related to money and finance. And a lot of it is deeply rooted in these experiences I had as a younger person. But the decision I've made going forward for 25, which I shared publicly with the group, as did you last week, is that I am no longer allowing myself to feel bad or inferior when speaking with people who have wealth. I will no longer allow myself to feel that my success and self-worth is defined by what I have or don't have, or how much money I make or don't make. Mm-hmm. And I've let go of identifying with the ashamed young man with the free lunch ticket in the middle school lunch line. Although that young man is still very much a part of who I am today. In fact, who I am today is because of that young man, right? And the experience that young man lived. Mm-hmm. So notice how I've said as I went through this, that this is what I'm doing, right? I didn't say I'm going to try, or I hope to let go of shame, embarrassment, and guilt. I said I am letting go of shame, embarrassment, and guilt. And I've said that intention, and now in front of this audience as well. So I'm committing to it. I'm 100% committed to it. Now, despite all that, doesn't mean that there won't be setbacks at times. There will be times that the feelings, right, of shame, embarrassment, or guilt might continue to pop up. Yes. Right. But because everything's a practice and no one's perfect.
All right.
So, if you're listening along and you try some of these things and you try these statements, and then you find a couple months from now, those feelings are popping up and they're making you feel some kind of way and you're kind of giving into them a little bit. It's okay. Forgive yourself, move on, give yourself grace, try and learn from the experience. But I am choosing to be led by my intention rather than effort. Right? Because if I lead with intention, then the effort should follow the intention. At least that's my narrative. How about you, Maureen?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. There is no, like, if you say you're trying, then you're kind of wishy-washy around it. You're not really you're not committed. I think you need to be committed and intentional about it. So my index card said that I'm letting go of fear, anxiety, and past traumas. And some of the things that I struggled with were, my value. And, I need to stop attaching that to a monetary aspect. I mean, I don't, I always used to feel like, well, I'm not making enough money, so I don't have value, or I'm not making any money, so I don't have value. And that's absolutely not true. Money, wealth is a mindset. It's not a number. And I think it's really important to remember that. I have wealth and abundance in so many other areas of my life. Obviously we all need to pay our bills, but that's not what really, to focus solely on money and put your value on how much you make or what you have materialistically is not really going to, for me, not going to get me far. And I don't see how that's going to work for me. I mean, I can focus on sharing my passions and things that I'm passionate about, the things that I know with the world, and build wealth from that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nope, there's nothing wrong with that.
And know your value is really important. But to just go after money, I think, is not something that is really, the people who are the wealthiest do what they love. They're not there just to make money. They're doing what they love. So I don't know anybody who's, wealthy that's not doing what they absolutely love. But going back to, the exercise, I really love this intention setting for the new year, because it's important that you start off knowing how you want to move forward and then have a plan of action. So I am getting rid of anxiety, fear, and past traumas. I'm letting go of that. And I want to manifest my business, which is working with individuals in the neurodiverse community, families with children who are neurodiverse, and helping them, because that's my area of expertise, and I'm very passionate about this work. So I'm going to move forward in that space. Also transforming, my body, my health, my fitness is also really important for me. I mean, as a woman who's postmenopausal, that weight that you gain, I mean, many people do gain weight. Most women gain weight. I can't say all. A lot of women go through menopause without gaining weight. Great. I wish I was one of them. But I wasn't. I absolutely put on a ton of weight. And, it's like a snowball effect. Once you start doing that, you start feeling bad. And you don't feel good about, yourself in general, how what you look like, but also the nutrition that you're putting in your body is not helping, and the lack of exercise. So I think all these things need to come together for myself, for somebody like me, who I need to do it all. I need to be able to, having a healthy mindset means a healthy body, putting healthy things in my body, and having a healthy lifestyle, which includes mindfulness. It includes doing what I love and exercising and moving my body in ways that I enjoy, and feeling good about it. So that's super important. I just want to look at my notes here.
Yeah, you did something you don't normally do yesterday in terms of sharing.
Yeah, so I joined this challenge with Don Saladino, who's an amazing trainer. I learned about him through Gabrielle Lyons. So I follow Gabrielle Lyons and I subscribe to her newsletters and stuff. And she, I guess, partnered with Don Saladino, who's a fitness guru in the celebrity world. I mean, he works with Blake Lively and her husband,
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, thank you. And most of the characters in his movies, like the Marvel characters and things, worked with many we've And he's so down to earth. I mean, he's from New York. I think the Putnam area, we're up around the Cold Spring, I think. But anyway, so I joined. He had a December challenge that he gave away for free for subscribers of Gabrielle Lyons. And I never really lifted heavy weights before. I've always exercised, and because I have a lot of sensory needs, like challenge, I have sensory processing challenges. So I have to have a lot of input. And so I'm always like running or punching a bag, or, somebody has to give me a hug, like I need that input. But I started lifting heavy weights, and I realized that the heavier I lifted, the better I felt safely. I mean, I had to be safe about it. And so not only did it help calm my central nervous system to push the heavy weights, but I started becoming more confident and found more courage to put myself out there. I am not one to put out my successes and pictures of myself. I was never comfortable with that. I really don't like the way I look. I have to kind of work on that. Although now I do like it. So I recently, like, my whole mindset shifted from seeing, the person in the mirror and not liking what I saw, to seeing a beautiful, intelligent, wise, someone who has so much to offer, and to really loving myself. And that makes such a difference, because my confidence shot up. And it wasn't just the weightlifting, but the weightlifting definitely catapulted me to that place, because it was a journey, and seeing everybody in this private Facebook group that I was on the challenge with, share everything and put themselves out there. I was like, I can do this. I can do this. So I started doing it, and it felt like, I was, of course I was like having a mini panic attack as I took the pictures and, put them up for the post. And I was like, oh my God, should I do this? Can I do this? Like I was freaking out, but I did it. I just hit post, and I got so many great responses, and it just felt really good. Also to see the before and after. From September of this year to now is enormous. The transformation, but it all began on the inside, which
Absolutely.
is why I'm so passionate about this podcast, because it starts on the inside. So if I didn't feel like I was worthy of taking care of myself, if I didn't have the perspective and open my mind to anything and everything, like when it comes to health and wellness, I wouldn't have been able to make the journey, and there's so many other things that go along with it. Not just for myself, but I need to, I want to be a model for my child, and the people that I work with, and just, it's what I believe, within the depths of my soul, which sounds kind of corny, but it's true. I really do feel strongly about making that change, and it all happens inside. And when it starts to go on the inside, everything on the outside changes. And that's exactly what's happening.
It definitely starts in the inside. I know you've quoted Martha Beck as saying happiness is an inside job before.
Oh, 100%.
And we were talking about that last night, how there's some people I've talked to lately that talk about trying to practice, this idea of calm and serenity, and they're like, I'm finding it hard to find time to meditate. And really, when you think about it, the practice for us in transforming our lives becomes all encompassing. And if we change from the inside out, then it affects every area of our lives. We parent different. We show up as a different partner, as a different boss, a different employee. And those changes, right, that you see on the outside, your body, were because of changes you made in the inside. Your relationship with food, your relationship with yourself, right? All these things matter. And so, the practice for these things isn't finding 30 minutes a day to exercise, or 30 minutes a day to meditate, or 30 minutes a day to read, and then wondering like, well, I read and I meditate and exercise for a part of every day. Why am I not changing? Right? Because I think, and I have been there, a lot of people try and nothing wrong with any of these things, right? But on their own, they're not going to solve the problem, right? Whether it's therapy or religion or a group, or, right? Whatever it is that you subscribe to, that thing by itself or another person is not going to change you unless you make changes inside.
Right. And I think, it's so interesting that you're saying this, and it just occurred to me, because I am a behaviorist at heart, right? This is what I do. I observe behaviors, I analyze, and I help find solutions for people. And I'm listening to this, and I realized that what I did, and I think a lot of people do this, most of my behaviors were escape behaviors, right? Mm-hmm. The function of my behaviors were to escape my head, myself. I was literally, I started running,
Well, literally, you're escaping your mind.
I was trying to escape my mind.
Right.
So I've been running since I was an adolescent, right? I started running with my dad when I was in elementary school, and I continued to run, and I, played sports, and I became a fitness instructor, all just to get away from myself, the trauma, the childhood stuff that I had to do. I just didn't want to be inside my head anymore. So I'd run, I'd get that, endorphin hit that just, because drugs and alcohol never did it for me. They just made me feel worse. I felt out of control. I need to feel in control. Mm-hmm. So this was my way of, getting that medicine that I needed, right? Yeah. I'm self-medicated through running and exercise and stuff. And, but the function of my behavior was always escape. When I started really practicing mindfulness, it was very hard. It is very hard because you're not escaping. It's not an escape. So if your function is to escape, you need to think about what the function of this behavior is going to be.
100%.
And that is, for me, that was the one thing that changed everything. So now my function is not to escape. It's to be inside, be where I am, where my feet are, and appreciate myself in that moment, what my body's doing, no matter what it looked like. And as hard as it is, like meditation, start with like 3 minutes. Everyone can find 3 minutes. Quiet your mind, turn everything off, put your phone away, and just focus on your breathing. Just close your eyes and just breathe in and count and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out and count your breaths. And do that and set a timer for 3 minutes. And every day, add an extra minute. You can find it. Well, I think what's really important is we have to carve the time out. For me, what I would do is I'm scrolling, right? I get sucked into Instagram land, right? And I'm getting those hits of dopamine, and I'm like, oh, that's funny, because my algorithm is like funny, cat videos or animal videos, just funny, adorable, cutesy stuff. So I'm scrolling, and I'll see funny stuff, and I'll be laughing. Because, you just want to escape your world for a few minutes. And I get that. Everybody does. I would rather be scrolling than meditating, right? Most of the time. But I know that if I sit in mindfulness, I'll feel better. If I focus on my exercise and I lift those weights, I don't listen to music anymore when I lift weights now. I used to blast the music. Not anymore. If I go for a run, yeah, I'll do it. Because I just enjoy that. It's just like, it gives me such a high that I have to do it. But I haven't run in a long time, really. I haven't been running. The last time I ran was early December, but I've focused on lifting weights, and I don't listen to music, and I just focus on my body and what I'm doing. And I haven't injured myself, which is, I've never done that before because I don't overdo it.
Right.
And so I think that makes such a difference. But I digress. I forget where I was now.
So you were talking a little bit about what you want to manifest. And I think this is all helpful, right? Because we were talking about making changes on the inside. And meditation is a part of that.
Yeah, the function of the behavior.
It's definitely a part of that.
So the function of meditation is to be where you are and not escape.
Right.
And that's hard for most people because they have such hectic lives, and their children are, they just want to escape for a few minutes on Instagram. And I get it. Give yourself that. Don't take it away, but time it, right? Give yourself 20 minutes a day, twice a day if you need it, to go through Instagram. When the 20 minutes is up, put your phone away, close your eyes, and give yourself 3 minutes of give yourself back. It's like paying your bank, right? Mm-hmm. It's like saving. Like they always say, I remember when I was younger, I heard someone say, you want to pay yourself first. So, which means you put money in your savings account, and then you put your play money out, but always pay yourself first. So you're going to pay yourself first in time. You're going to take care of you. That's truly self-care. Self-care is not going out getting a manicure and a massage. No. Self-care is truly taking care of yourself, your body, putting good things in it, exercising and meditating or having some mindfulness practice. That's self-care.
One of the things when I first heard about meditation is I had the ill-conceived notion that a lot of people have that you're trying to empty the mind, and that couldn't be further from the truth. What you're trying to do is quiet the mind and really observe the thoughts as they come and go, right? But you're not trying to suppress them or push them away. And actually, I found in the beginning, because I was trying to push thoughts away, that meditation was frustrating.
It's hard, yeah.
And if you do that, thoughts are going to come and go. Let the thoughts come and go. And then when you find yourself going down a rabbit hole, then return to the breath, right? And like you said, focus on breathing in and breathing out. But you are going to have thoughts. I mean, your mind, you can't shut your mind off. It's
never.
not a light switch. It doesn't go off and on. But the reason why we bring all this up, going back to trying to make 25 an amazing year, this has to be part of the practice. For us anyway, it has to be part of the practice, right? For us to meditate, to be able to have ourselves in the right position, accepting where we are now so we can move forward and make the changes that we need to.
Right. But here's what the mindfulness would do, circling back to what you were talking about earlier with letting go of certain things like the anxiety, fear, and what you want to let go of. Those things are going to come back, right? You let go of them. It's not like, letting go of a feather and it flies in the wind. I mean, they're going to come back and you're going to feel it. The mindfulness practice helps you to recognize where in your body you're feeling the fear, the anxiety, the past trauma.
Right.
And saying, okay, there you are. I see you. I feel you, right? Validate, this is what happens and it's okay. And we're going to just kind of focus on it until it just dissipates. And believe it or not, when you focus on it, it starts to dissolve.
Yeah.
So you ever try to hold on to a thought? Right? It's the same thing with a feeling.
Yeah.
Right? The more you push away that thought, the more it's staying with you. But if you focus on that thought, it all of a sudden you're thinking about something else. So if you focus on that feeling, if you try to push away the feeling, it won't let go. But if you focus on it, it starts to dissipate and lighten. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it actually works. So and as far as letting go, that's how we let go, because it's going to come back. Manifesting, kind of similar. I would get up every morning and think about everything that you already have. As if, like, everything you want to manifest, as if you already have it. Feel the feeling of having what you want to manifest in your life like you have it right now. And be grateful for it. Speak in whole sentences in your mind about what you've manifested and how great you feel about it. And just imagine your world exactly how you want it. And then it only takes a few minutes, and then move on with your day. If you can practice that, make that a habit every day, the function will be to manifest your life, visualize it. See, make a vision board if you need to. That's what we did. And that really works.
Yeah, and I just before we move on, I just want to share, in case anybody was wondering, some of the things I want to manifest for 25 is self-love and acceptance for every part of myself, being proud of who I am and what I'm able to do right now as I am. And I've been ashamed of parts of myself, right, and not letting those show. And so, although I say I'm living my authentic life, I'm not always being my true authentic self in every moment. That doesn't mean you go out and crowd of strangers and say, I grew up in poverty. There's no need to overshare, right? But there's also no need to go out of your way to hide or pretend that you had something that you didn't have, right? So I'm going to be manifesting self-love, acceptance, and a greater degree of authenticity.
Yeah,
as we go into the new year,
it is hard because you have parts of you that will show up to protect you, and your higher self, is kind of taking a back seat. And that's what we talked about the other day about who's driving the car, right? Who's driving your life? Is it you or a part of you that's uncomfortable with from a past trauma, uncomfortable certain things you want to manifest in your life because of a past trauma.
And that's the whole idea with meditation, is that your mind is not running away with you, right? Because your mind can take you to many different places that are not healthy to go to, right? And we talk about going down these mental rabbit holes. That's the idea of meditation, is kind of trying to get a hold of that, right? And not allow the mind to take you places that you don't want to go.
Right. Just recognize it's just a thought.
Yeah.
There's nothing attached to it. It's just a thought.
Right. But thoughts, can lead to feeling a certain kind of way.
Right.
I mean,
but if you could separate that out when you have these thoughts that aren't serving you, recognize, it's just a thought. I don't have to attach anything to it. And while that might be hard, it sounds simple. If you say that out loud to yourself, you could, it might help. So
a couple of final thoughts. Well, more than a couple. I think it's really 10. And I'm not sure if we're going to share them all, but I know that you got really excited from listening to the podcast from Dean Grazioso,
Yes.
Millionaire Success Habits.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so much about making money, but more about how you think about money. But also, I think some of this is beyond money. Like, I know first one that we were talking about last night, this whole idea of taking stock of the inner circle, letting go of toxic people, because I've read a lot of things and I know I've experienced it. People can be anchors in your life, and they will literally weigh you down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's so interesting because I got this book, Millionaire Success Habits, and it's really not about wealth at all. It's actually about like a journey, a mindset shift. So wealth, again, is a mind shift. It's not a number. And it's developing these daily habits over time that you persist will bring you what you want. So everybody obviously wants financial wealth and financial freedom. I mean, this is what we want. It will make you happier over the long run if you're doing what you love and building wealth from that. There's nothing wrong with that. And so I just think that, so these habits, I was listening to his podcast the other day, and I have to share. I hope it's okay, Dean. But I have to share because I really thought that they were great. And one of them was to take stock of your inner circle and let go of toxic people. And I think that's really important. He called it auditing your inner circle. And yeah, I think that you need to think about who's in your life and who is being an anchor. The second one is, you're going to have big problems in life. I know I always had a tendency to run away from mine, hoping they would just go away or ignore them, but they're just going to get bigger. So learn to face your problems and solve big problems. Because if you want to build abundance and wealth financially or otherwise, with big wealth comes big problems, right? So learn how to solve those problems, and you have what it takes. A lot of times the problems seem so much bigger when you're running away from it, and when you get close to it, it's not that big. You could pull it apart, find resources, find help, figure out how to fix it.
Well, that's where your mind can run amok, right?
Yeah.
And
this is so big, I'm overwhelmed.
Make you've heard the expression, mountain out of a molehill. That's where it comes from.
I mean, as soon as you say, I'm overwhelmed, guess what?
Right.
You're overwhelmed.
You're labeling.
Yeah, you're overwhelmed.
So you're setting your intention for how you're going to feel about it. If you say, I'm overwhelmed, or there's no way I'm going to be able to do this, or you can talk yourself in and out of anything.
You can say, I got this.
Right.
What do I need to tackle first? What's the priority? Like, write down the problem and problem solve. Brainstorm. It feels good to put down on paper what it is that you're trying to figure out, and then write down, if you really are stuck, write down who you think might be able to help you. Reach out to that person or that organization, or Google whatever you need to Google. I mean, now we have, the world at our fingertips. So any problem you need to solve, you can always find someone on the internet who's been there and can do it. I'm not sure there's, too many things that you can't Google on in the internet and somebody hasn't experienced it. So this is one of my favorites. It's on me. No one's coming to save you. And I had to, I was always like putting things off. It's so important to remember no one's going to come save you. As much as we'd like that, maybe we didn't get that as a child, and we're still wanting that as an adult. I mean, that's where I think I got stuck. I didn't. Nobody came to save me when I was a child, and I couldn't save myself.
Yeah, I was there too.
Yeah, so I kind of grew up like, expecting or wanting someone else to save me and waiting for that to happen because I needed it because I didn't get it as a child. So I think that's the psychology behind these things are really important, that you kind of dig a little deep, do your 7 layers of why. I spoke about it before.
Mm-hmm.
Dean Grazioso has it in his book, and he also has it. I mean, just Google 7 layers of why. Anytime you want to solve a problem, you can get to the heart of what you're trying to do with those layers. I love that exercise. Who's in the driver's seat of your life? We just spoke about that. You want to be driving. You want to be in control. Your higher self, not a part of you that's trying to protect you from something, who feels ashamed, right? The part of me that feels shame and anxiety and fear is not who I want to drive the car. Like, I'm in charge, right? So meet each day with love, compassion, and your authentic self. You just said that. I love that one. I actually have messages throughout my day about...
I didn't realize that I'd already set that as my intention for 2025.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And then you told me about Dean putting it out there. So I was already in alignment with that number 5.
Yeah. And a lot of these are kind of repetitive. I mean, focus on the fix. That's your solution. I mean, you spill a glass of milk. Don't sit there and try to figure out why that milk was full sitting at the edge of the table. How did you knock it over?
Yeah,
just go get a rag, clean it up, and move on. I mean, that's it. Don't sweat the small stuff. Small shifts. We talk about making daily habits. So, I wanted to lose weight. I don't drink soda, but I mean, cutting out things like processed foods, or just adding in whole foods, vegetables, more protein, more lean proteins. I mean, small shifts. Make small shifts in your life that you can sustain over time, can become part of a lifestyle. I think I see a lot of people wanting to just go full on keto. That stuff's not sustainable. You need something that's going to fit into your lifestyle. If you love having pizza, you need to be able to fit that into your lifestyle, right? I mean, I've been enjoying, I've treated myself and I still lost weight. So you can't deny yourself, because then you're going to be, all of a sudden you're just going to splurge and then go down a rabbit hole of self-loathing.
Yeah, no, it happens.
You know what I mean? So small shifts. Give yourself, and this is, I said 3 minutes, 5 to 15 minutes of time every day. Time for you to be alone in your thoughts. Listen to, I love this. We had the Tibetan monks here in the States, and we found, they have this amazing deep chant. It's just Om. I mean, that's all it is, but it kind of vibrates through your whole body, and it's so relaxing. So put on meditation music, or a guided meditation. Sometimes if you have trauma and you try to close your eyes, that trauma's in your face. I know that when I first moved here, I had an experience that was really scary, and I was traumatized from it. And I couldn't meditate without having it come. So I had to do a guided meditation. So you do whatever you can to find your way. But give yourself time. You deserve it. Everybody deserves that time. Carve it out. You're not, you keep your cup full, then you'll have more to give. But you can't be running around at 20%. Mm-mm. It doesn't work. And the last one is persist until you succeed. So I love this one. This is one of my favorites, the last one. So persistence is critical. For years, I didn't think I was smart enough to get an education, to go to college, to get my master's degree. I never thought I was smart enough. And I had someone that I worked with in my early 30s who, had all these degrees, like a Juris Doctorate and all this stuff. And he was a manager or director where I worked. And I'm like, God, you have all these degrees. Like, that's amazing, And he goes, well, yeah, why don't you, are you in school? You have, and I said, no, I don't have a college education. I don't think I could do that. He goes, why not? I go, I don't know if I'm smart enough for that. He goes, of course you are. He said, all you need to do, college is just, getting a degree is just about persistence. Yeah. Persevering, pushing through it. And he was right. And I was like, I can endure, I can perceive, I can do that.
That was in the book I just finished reading this morning. The obstacle is the way.
Yeah. I can persist. I'm pretty persistent. I dig in and my heels are dug in and I don't let go until I get what I want. So I could do that. And I was like, so I tried it. And next thing I knew, I had a master's degree. So that I think is really important. Persist until you succeed. Over time, you'll get what you want.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think any of this is rocket science.
No, but
it bears repeating.
Yeah, it does bear repeating. I think we forget in our hectic everyday life the little things that we can do to move forward. You feel stuck. Write these down. Look at them every day at night before you go to bed and close your eyes, and then you could sort of marinate on it, as Wayne Dyer would say.
Oh, I love it. All right, so just to recap again, 3 things to do right now to have an amazing start to 25. Mm-hmm. Write down on an index card what you want to let go of in your life. Write down what you want to manifest or grow more of in your life. And then share these 2 things with someone close to you, and come back to them throughout the year, right? And say, am I living in alignment with this intention that I've set for the year? So that's really what it's all about, setting your intention and then living in alignment with the intention.
Yeah.
Sounds simple, and it kind of is, kind of isn't, right? Because you got to do the work.
Well, the most genius things in life are the most simple, right? The things that really
You still
do
have
work.
to put in the work, right? Nothing's going to come easy.
No, you always have to put the work in. There's no shortcuts.
Right.
Absolutely no shortcuts. So there you go.
All right, good stuff. This, unless something changes, will be the last show of 24.
Yeah.
So we want to wish everybody a happy new year, and we will see you in 2025.
Happiness, health, and prosperity to all.
Yes, and have an amazing start to 25.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.